Hey, what's going on everyone? Shiva Sapkota here with another Tesla video. Today I want to do a follow-up of the video I posted last week about this really cool ambient light with blind spot detection system, the autopilot, the charging, acceleration meter. It's a really cool product. I have a product link as well as the detailed installation and demo of everything in the description below if you haven't checked that out. Thank you so much for your engagement to the video. We have got a lot of views, the subscriptions, the comments, the likes, everything. I'm extremely grateful for that. That greatly helps us rank higher in YouTube's algorithm. That means we can continuously bring videos like this in the future. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate your continued support. Today, I wanted to answer the top questions that I received on that video and then address some of the clarity. Maybe you weren't super clear about what I meant by where you should install and how it looks on the older Tesla. So I'm here to answer all of those questions, starting with the Intel question. Does this work for Intel? Apparently it does work for Intel. At the beginning I just thought it was the AMD version only, but looks like it does work for Intel, and they say that their kit should be ready this week. That means if you place an order last week, you should be getting it sometime in the next week or so. So that's great news that folks with Intel computer, it still works. It is a little bit difficult to install on the Intel computer, and those are the cars from Model 3s from 2017 all the way somewhere in 2020. You can check your car's screen. It will tell you if you have an Intel or the AMD processor. But basically with the Intel cars, you have to remove the glove box, the panel in the bottom, and you have to reach this difficult to locate area where you have to remove a gray plug and then do a Y connector. And it does work. It's just a little bit difficult for Intel versus AMDs and Highlands and Juniper. You can just pop out the side door panel and then you have it right there on that footwell area. So it's super easy to connect that. But yes, Intel does work. Another question that I had from folks was, can I combine this with other accessory? I already have it connected on that plug. And the answer is yes, you can connect as many as you like. I have probably 5 connected to each of my cars just because there's so much accessories that I review, and a lot of them I keep. Some of them I remove, but a lot of them I keep. And because there is just one plug, but you can daisy chain so many different plugs together with the power and the OBD, it all works just fine. I've done that so many years and no issues. So you can daisy chain everything on the plug side. Now the other main question that I have gone was regarding the older Tesla Model Ys and Model 3s and how to install it. What does it look like with this light? And unfortunately, when I first made the video, they had not sent me a kit that was applicable for the Model Y, the older Model Ys. It was only a kit that was applicable for the Highland and Juniper. Even though I showed you how you can install on the older ones, I didn't actually have a kit that would work with the plug. So I asked them to send me a new kit with the older Model Ys, but that's going to take some time, and I wanted you to have this video as quickly as possible. So what I ended up doing is I ended up modifying the plug myself. I took an old plug that I had from an instrument cluster, I spliced it, all wired it and everything, and made this work with the Highland kit. So basically I modified the Highland kit to make it on the older Model Y, and that's one I wanted to show you today, to just show you what it looks like, where to install it. And I'm going to go between different options of when you install it on that little slit area in the front versus if you want to stick it on the down or the up. I just wanted to show you what it looks like during daytime, nighttime. And again, the intention is for you to see this video. If you haven't made a decision, this might help you make your decision. And if you already purchased it, so before you install it, you have a full pictures of where to install it. All right, let's show you some testing here on the older Tesla Model Y. So I have wedged in the light in there, so I haven't stick it on the edge or anything. It's just wedged in. This is how they anticipated this working by default. What helps with this older model is because of that area here, because the dash is further out and then there's more space in the bottom, this space becomes dark, so it actually reflects pretty well. But let me show you. So again, daylight here, I put on the blinker and you could see that reflection there. So if you look at it from this angle, from driver's perspective, even if you're a taller person, you're able to see that reflection. Is that bright enough? I don't know what your preference is. For me, I could clearly see that, so that is good for me. That is what you see there, is the reflection. Now if we look at it on the other side, you can still see that. So that is the green reflection there. Again, broad daylight here, super hot. But like right now, as you can see, it's the middle of the day and you could see that reflection there. I'm going to show you on the road what it looks like, but that is pretty clear to me. Again, as I say, it's probably your personal preference, but that looks pretty good to me. let me take you on a road and then I will show you in action with all the blind spot and everything how it reflects. Now we are going to be entering a highway here. I'm sure there is going to be a bunch of cars in my blind spot, so I am going to be showing you. There you go. So that's the green flashing, that's the red flashing, let me know there's a car in my blind spot, and flashing green, so I am going to go. There you go. Now if there is a car in my blind spot, it is going to show right there. So that is the sign that you see. There's going to be another car in the blind spot and it is going to show bright orange right there that you see. So that's what you get with this light if it is fully wedged in. You can take it out, but I actually like it wedged in because of the reflection. So another car here, and you see that the light reflects and it shows you in orange. Another car in the blind spot and you can see that, and then if you flash, it will flash you red, indicating there's a car in a blind spot. This side, no car yet, and you can see the green flashing super clearly. So even in a bright daylight, as long as the sun is not just hitting in this space here, it is really visible, right? Like look at it from the driver's perspective. Up here, you can see that. You look at it there, you can see that. So the light is really visible, and if I was to back up a little bit, I'm gonna be under a tree here in the shade. So you can see how quickly it changes as there is no bright sun that is just hitting there. So now I'm under a tree shade here and you could clearly see that. So the light is really bright and it reflects really good and soft. So here again, we are in a broad daylight and this is the reflection that I see from driver's perspective. So yes, it could be dim if the sun is like really hitting it there, but I could still see that green there. Now let me show you on the other side. As you can see, you can still see that green from the driver's perspective. Again, here is another view in a different location. From the driver's perspective, that is what you see, broad daylight. That's what you see here. And that's what you see on the passenger side. So on a broad daylight, when the light is hitting it, even though you can clearly see the turn signal, so right there, you can see the turn signal from this angle, you are not going to be able to see the ambient light very well. So if you look at it, the ambient light is on, but the turn signal is super bright, so you can see it, but I feel like they dim that. So now, even though you can see the turn signal, the ambient light reflected is going to be very hard for you to see on a daylight. But as soon as the night hits, evening, on a cloudy day, you can clearly see the ambient light as well. Just during the broad daylight, the ambient light is not going to show, again, unless you pull that out to this edge, then you can see everything. So this is the night driving with the light tucked in the front area on that slit, and as you can see, it just reflects. It is very soft, and you can see it very clearly here that it's just reflecting on the dash. So it's a really nice soft light that is just reflected. It doesn't hurt your eyes and looks really cool. If we were to do that on the other side, as you see, the camera has a little bit of a flare, so it is showing all of that glare on the side. It is really not like that. It's actually super nice, and it feels soft, it feels embedded. It's not just glaring at you in your eyes. So I really like it. I really like how this looks. I wish my camera could just do justice showing you how this looks, but definitely love that, how it looks with the reflection there. So at nighttime, I really recommend just putting that wedged in. I wish daytime there was that solution too. Daytime is a little bit of dimmer that we saw earlier, but nighttime is amazing. So evening, nighttime, when the sun is really not hitting at the dash, I really like where you can just wedge into that space there, and this just reflects. So again, here it is. It is just reflected there. It is at nighttime, and I just wish they also made this like brightness adjustable. So that's not a thing right now. Hopefully in the software update you can get that, but it looks really cool. Toggling the autopilot, you can see that autopilot right there, and again on the other side as well, there's that autopilot indicator. They just need to add NAC to this, but You get the idea. Now, if that is too dim for you, that wedging it in, and you are like, you know what, I want more brighter of a light, and you don't mind getting a little bit of glare at night, then you could just get a double-sided tape and stick this anywhere you like. So like if you just want to bring it in a little bit closer here, or even push it in, that is one other option that you have, is just stick that in. So if we were to do it right here, you can even push this a little bit inside so it is not so much glary. You could do that, and what you will see with that method is pretty much what I showed you with the long video of the Highland. So this is what the Highland one looks like, where if you put the blinker, now you are going to be able to see it. This is not fit in right because I push it way out, but basically you get the idea. This is curved just because the dash is slightly curved here. You can push this out a little bit and align it, but just wanted to show you. With this, then you are absolutely going to see everything, right? Like the light is there, it is bright. If we look at it in this side, the light is bright, and you will absolutely see it. So you could do that. Like if you're in a situation where you need this assistance with blind spot, and you, again, at nighttime, this is gonna be a little bit of a glary. It's gonna be super bright, just staring at you. With the wedged in option, that is nice. Like it's not gonna be so much glary, but you could just stick it here. Now another option is you could put the glue on the top, the double-sided tape on the top, instead of putting it in the bottom and sticking here. You could do that and then just stick it to the edge of this dash right here. So I've temporarily installed this on the top here. So what I did is basically put that double-sided tape and then stick it on the corner so I could see the light very clearly. Please ignore some of the curvatures because I kind of did it on different spots, because I still plan on wedging this in for me personally. But if you wanted to see it a little bit better, that's what you see. Now if we were to toggle the blinker, you can clearly see that that is green. Toggle the blinker, you can see that that is green. My recommendation would be actually to turn off everything and just leave those indicator lights so that it becomes very obvious when it is green and whatnot. Let me take you out on the road to show you the blind spot on this method, where you are basically exposing just a little bit of that light so that you can see it, but at the same time it is visible during the day and nighttime. So obviously with this mounting method, you will clearly see that light because the light is visible for you. It is this way, you can clearly see it because, as I said, it's just exposed and you can see the light. There is going to be a car in my blind spot here, and you clearly see it orange because you can see the light this way. Here is the car on the other side, and you can clearly see that car in the blind spot as well. So if you paste the light to the bottom, there's going to be a car in my blind spot here. I'm going to show you what that looks like. So orange, clearly visible. So the maximum visibility you're going to see is if you paste that light into the very bottom. Another car, and if I was to try to blink with the other car, so there's going to be a van here, and if I try to blink with the van, this is what you are going to see. It's red blinking. So this is what it looks like at nighttime. It is not as glary as what you see on the camera. I can still see it with my eyes, but if it's completely dark like this outside, it's probably going to be a bit too much, depending on how much you're used to and what your comfort level is with this light. So probably if you're gonna tuck this underneath like that on the very bottom down there, you're probably gonna have some hard time, especially if it is just going to blink a lot and if you're gonna put your car in autopilot. So I'd probably not recommend that for night driving. If you're gonna do a lot of night driving, to still put it, like tuck it on that area, the gap there. So that's just what you see on the night driving. Here is the other side. Again, these are more glary on the screen, my camera, than they actually are, but still they're pretty strong, like when you look at it here. So that's what it looks like with the bottom one tucked in there, and then the top side tucked in there. Now there was a question about whether we can turn off that acceleration bar or not and just leave the blind spot, and yes, you can. Unfortunately, you have to do this every single time, which is annoying, but basically you just have to tap this twice and then that turns off. So press that twice, and then that is going to just fade away, and then it is gone. So now if I was to press on the accelerator, you don't see that, but you still retain all of this information. Now, one thing I wanted to clarify is that I told these people to ship the light strip with the adhesive for the older Tesla Model Ys and 3s, but by the time they responded to me, they said that they had already shipped out a batch without the 3M adhesive in it. So some of you are probably going to get just that light strip without the 3M adhesive for the older Tesla Model 3s or Y. All of the Highland and Juniper models will have the adhesive, but the older Tesla Model 3 and Y, if you made a purchase right after I posted the video, you're likely going to unfortunately not get that the 3M adhesive, the double-sided tape. But these double-sided tapes are really inexpensive. If you go to Amazon, there are some for under $5 you can get. This light strip is not too long, and you don't even need to put it on the entire length of it. You can probably put bits and pieces and then stick it wherever you want, the top or the bottom. But if you want to stick with the original plan of just putting it wedged in that area, then you don't need the double-sided tape. But just wanted to clarify that. I'm really sorry. I wish they had just shipped everything out since the beginning with the double-sided tape, but by the time they responded back to my query, it was probably late with some of those orders already shipped. So a handful of you are probably going to get your order without the adhesive, and the rest of you should get the adhesive with the kit. All right, so after testing this light on a Highland as well as the older Model Y day and night, here are my thoughts. For older Tesla Model Ys and 3s, your best outcome probably is going to be still sticking to the original plan of putting that light on that little slit area, just wedge that in there, because we saw through the testing that during the day you could still see the blind spot detection, the turn signal, and then it just reflects really nicely. And especially at nighttime, it's not gonna give you so much glare just looking at the light, because you're not directly looking at that light, you're looking at the reflection. It looks more OEM, it is a softer light. But if you want to see full-blown ambient light during the day as well, then you probably have to stick this either on the bottom or the front, or in front of the dash, wherever you want to put it. It's just a light strip. You can just put this wherever you want and still see all of the information. So it's up to you what you want, but for me personally, I am going to just leave it kind of wedged into that little slit area in the front, just because that provides the best value for me. For Highland and Juniper, the bottom space is not as reflective, so it is not as bad of a glare like what you see on the older Model Ys if you just stick it on the down. But still, there is option even on those models. If you just want to get a double-sided tape for Highland or Juniper and you want to stick it on the little dash area on the top, you still have that option. But there is no area like on the older Model Ys and 3s where there is no opening where you can just put this and reflect it, unfortunately, on the Highland or Juniper. But Highland and Juniper, I didn't find it too distracting at night, even with the light just being visible. For older Tesla Model 3s and Ys, the light could be a little bit more distracting if you're not used to it. Just depending on personal preference, you may be sensitive to light, but my job was to show you what it looked like. So that's what you get with this. You have some options where you can mount it. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you found it helpful, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and come back again soon.